I used to believe in the unbreakable wood joint, the kind of joint that, once you've made it, you feel like you could pass it down for generations. I thought if I just followed the right steps, used the right materials, and paid attention to detail, I could make something that would last forever. You know the one, everyone swears by it, forums argue over it, and I've used it for years without a second thought. It's the stuff of legend in woodworking circles. People debate endlessly about which joint is the strongest, which glue is the best, and which technique will stand the test of time. I was right there with them, convinced I had it all figured out. So I built it, by the book. Same wood, same glue, same fasteners. I measured twice, cut once, and made sure every surface was perfectly flush. I clamped it up, wiped away the excess glue, and waited for it to cure, just like I'd done 100 times before. I gave it the usual tests. Shook it, flexed it. Felt totally solid. No creaks, no cracks. It passed every check I could think of, and I felt that familiar sense of pride. This was the kind of joint you could bet your reputation on. And that's where most people stop. They see a solid joint and call it a day, confident that it'll hold up to anything life throws at it. But woodworking, like life, has a way of surprising you. But you and I know, glue drying isn't the end of woodworking. It's just the beginning. The real test comes when the piece leaves the bench and enters the real world, when it's used, moved, and lived with. I put it to work. First, steady weight, nothing dramatic. Piece of cake. Confidence, sky high. I watched as it handled the load without a hint of trouble, and I started to think maybe the legends were true. Then I tried a little side force, dragged it, leaned on it, gave it the real-life stuff furniture faces. Still, nothing. It shrugged off the abuse like it was built for it. But after a few hours, yeah, just hours, something changed. It wasn't dramatic, but it was there. A subtle shift, a feeling that something wasn't quite right. I spotted a tiny shift, not a snap, not even a squeak, just enough for me to know, something's off. It's the kind of thing you only notice if you're really paying attention, and that's the thing. Wood usually fails quietly, not with a bang. It creeps, it moves, it finds the weakest link and works on it, little by little. Sometimes you don't even notice until it's too late. I took it apart. The joint wasn't weak. The problem? The way force moved through the wood. It was a lesson in humility, realizing that even when you do everything right, there's more going on beneath the surface. Grain direction? Turns out that affects everything. The way the fibers run, the way the load travels, even how the glue bonds. Ignore it, and you're asking for trouble. Glue. Only as good as the contact area. If the surfaces don't mate perfectly, or if the grain soaks up the glue unevenly, you're left with weak spots you can't see. And that fastener, it was actually causing stress, not helping. Sometimes, what you think is reinforcement is actually the source of the problem. The truth is, every joint is a balance of forces. If you don't respect how those forces move, even the best materials and techniques can let you down. It's not about brute strength, it's about understanding the flow. So I rebuilt it. Same materials, same tools, but I changed how the load moved through the joint. I paid attention to the grain, the glue, the fasteners, and, most importantly, the path the force would take. Nothing fancy, just smarter. Sometimes, the smallest adjustment makes the biggest difference. It's about working with the wood, not against it. Tested it again. Weight, side force, time. Solid. This time it held up, not because it was unbreakable, but because it was designed with understanding. The joint didn't get stronger, it got smarter. And that's the real secret. Knowing why things work, not just how to make them. Lesson? Don't trust unbreakable, trust understanding. In woodworking, as in life, it's not about making things that never fail. It's about learning, adapting, and building with intention.